Hello there, boys and girls, and welcome back to Mid-Table Crisis with me, Simon Cross.
Me, Tom Patrick.
And this week with a couple of a little help from my friends. First with
Danny.
And James.
illustrious.
Reuniting
For the first time,
Radio.
10 years now since it's DJ Radio. Remember the jingle?
3, 2, 1. DJ Radio.
It's been a long time coming. I'm sure the viewers out there can't wait.
Oh,
We'll have music later.
Deadline day and a treat like this. I mean, my God, we're spoiling them.
It's more like listeners than viewers, seeing as they can't actually see you. But I take your point.
Probably for the best.
I
haven't aged well.
don't really know what's happening here, but anyway, back.
Takeover's what's happening. We're here to show you how it's done. I mean, I'm a big fan, but you know, you've got nothing on us.
I know everything about football.
I'm starting to regret this decision, Tom. Anyway,
we should say early on that despite claiming to know everything about football, Danny is a registered Brighton fan, which means that 3 times a week he does have to be taken out. And James is an avid Man United fan, which mixes things up a little bit because we've got a few different leagues and a few different areas represented.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
so anyway, you mentioned Manchester United. This is deadline day. I mean, all of our listeners will already know the big one. So let's dive into our various opinions of it. Falcao to United. It's a massive move. It's an interesting move. It's one that caught us completely off guard. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think the thing is with Falcao is people have thought it'd be wrapped up a little bit before now. I think if he was going to go, he was going to go a few days ago, like Di Maria, where you've got time to thrash it out and set out the terms. Whereas this is, as you say, it's caught everyone off guard a little bit. I mean, I'll be interested to hear what James thinks about it, being a United fan.
See, you can ask someone about this. I had a very odd morning because it was a mixture of great excitement and quite honestly despair. Because as great a signing as it is, I don't think it sorts out the problems that we have at the minute, which obviously it's quite blatant. It's defensively problems. Now, we've signed Daley Blind, I think is how you say it.
Yeah.
Which, another left-sided player. It's not a bad signing, but I'd still like to see another centre-half come in. We've got Roja, who we've got some nuisance about his work permit still ongoing. So
attacked a neighbour in 2010. So, he's got a criminal case against him.
Well, it's outrageous, but, I mean, we'll get onto criminal courts later on, trust me. You think this is a problem, I'm going to blow you out of the water, to be quite honest, but... we've got 50 minutes, so I'm still hoping for a Hummels to turn up, to be quite honest, or someone like that. I'm going to keep the faith, but... optimistic, let's just say that.
I mean, I must mention we are recording live during the last hour of deadline day. It's 10 past 10 as things currently stand.
49 minutes to go, and I'm quite nervous, to be quite honest, but,
I mean, I was going to say that James got his pen and paper out earlier, and he had a look into a little bit of how he's going to fit Falcao in. Care to share with us?
It's an odd one, I'm not going to lie. So obviously we've gone with David De Gea in goal. I've actually gone with quite a bold move and switched Luke Shaw to right back. I'm not sure how good he is on his weaker side, but, time will tell. Stand up from the season so far, Mr. Phil Jones, Captain Gurn at centre-half. Daley Blind at left-back, and I've gone with Herrera as more of a holding role. Obviously in front, you've got Di Maria on the right, Ashley Young on the left with Mata in the centre, Rooney just ahead, and then obviously Falcao and Van Persie up top. So it's quite a mix-up of a formation, but...
It's a formation with one centre-back. I don't think you thought this through.
It is the only way I could... You said, find a way to fit them all in. I have done that for you, and you are still not happy.
I'm not happy because it's unbalanced and doesn't work.
In that logic, you could set up a team with 10 strikers in, couldn't you, and make it work? It's not the point, is it, Ison?
It's not quite an outrage. I mean, it's not fantastic, but under the pressure, that's what I've got. I'm sorry.
What are Man U's problems at the moment?
I think... See, in pre-season, I was a big fan of the new formation, but watching it in the Premier League play out, I'm not hugely convinced so far, to be quite honest. It's a bit different with David Moyes. Van Gaal's been there and he's won things, so you've got to give him a bit more time. Obviously, the man knows what he's doing. He's been successful everywhere he's been. David Moyes, nah, not quite as much. So I'm willing to give him a lot more time. I still think defensively that's our main issue. I think De Gea solid goalkeepers up there with the best in the world. I'd like to see one more centre-half in. So, I mean, my choice would be Hummels, but I can't genuinely think of many centre-halves right now that we could go out and buy. When you got Ron Villar at Aston Villa, he played well for Holland. I don't know if he's a Man United player, but
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact is there, James, you're a Man United fan and you named one centre-back and put a left-back at right-back, which kind of says, yeah, you definitely need defenders. I mean...
yeah, I struggled. I'm not going to lie, I struggled. I was trying to think
Yeah.
of the best way to fit all four in. It's not feasible to do that, so it won't happen like that. And I worry
No.
Mata. I think Mata might be the one that gets dropped here.
Yeah, but it's a good headache to have. But yeah, as you say, it's like putting the roof on before building the foundations. I mean,
Exactly
You've
what I
got-
said earlier.
yeah, you've got maybe 2 Premiership quality defenders, so not clever.
Well, it's going to be interesting how it all pans out. I mean, there was one of the guys mentioned that they did have the money to buy Falcao outright. They just preferred the loan option, which makes me think they're saving some money for January when they realise who's available, who's running down their contract, and trying gradual change rather than bulk change. But he'll. Don't get me wrong. I am biblically excited to see him in the Premier League. You know, ever since the World Cup, mid-table crisis listeners will know, I love
I've
Colombia.
been a big fan for many years.
I do love the Colombian team. This is brilliant for me, but it's solving a problem that wasn't there in the first place in terms of a strike force. Strike force is the one thing they did have.
To be honest, as a United fan, even I'll say I see Falcao as more of probably a fit for an Arsenal sort of signing. I think he'd suit Arsenal down to the ground. I think if they managed to sign, it's Arsene Wenger again. I've never been a big fan of him, to be quite honest. I'm not I'm a United fan. I'm not supposed to be. But he always has this problem. He'll sit there for months on end and talk about the problems that Arsenal have and what they need, and then waits to the last minute, and then when he gets pipped to the post about it, complains. He had Remy, £10 million for Remy for Arsenal would have been a bargain. He's waited to the last minute and he's been pipped to the post again. So I don't think Sanchez has been phenomenal. I think he's been okay.
It's also been 3 games.
I don't see him. You're going to have to play him as a centre forward. They're struggling without Sanogo. He's not. Let's be honest.
He's
not
21, I think.
He's
too
not.
young.
He's not going to get you goals this season to get you up to the top of the league, challenging for the title. Is my point. Sanchez isn't an all-out striker, so that's not going to work. I mean, they should have kept on Nicholas Bentner, to be quite honest. I mean, he's not a great player, but at least he knows what he's doing up there.
Controversial. I mean, I know what you mean. I think it would have been definitely a good idea to let Bentner go and just get a big man in. You know, there was talk of Zigic. I mean, if that one goes through, doesn't look like it with the Welbeck signing. But if Zigic could have gone, that would probably have made my
Good
decade.
job for him, to be fair. I've had some issues with him, but I think he will go there and do his job. He's the right sort of player for him.
I reckon for a change, he's going to get to play as an out-and-out forward, which is something he wasn't really getting at
He
United.
played more as a left-wing sided player, but I'd be interested to see him. For an England point of view, it's a good move for him. Because he has been playing a lot more in the central role. So if he's going to play that more at Arsenal, then England-wise, it's a good move for him.
Yeah. It's the Arsenal team's starting to look a little bit more British as well. You know, with
It's nice to see.
Ramsey, Wilshere,
Chambers.
Chambers, of course. Yeah, if Walcott can get back to fitness as well, maybe he could have a very good quick man partnership with Welbeck. That remains to be seen.
Welbeck, Walcott and Chamberlain on the left. When you've got Sanchez to get in there as well. I worry about Chamberlain slightly. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Chamberlain, but I'm not quite sure how they're going to fit all these players in. It's a bit of a United issue, but not with quite the level of players. But they've got a lot of players that are going to be wanting to play in those same positions.
Well, they've got more of them.
Exactly, yeah.
They've got more of a problem than you have, as they've got more players to fit into less positions. You've just got the problem up front.
See, you say a problem. It's a good problem to have, though. Let's be honest. I'd rather. I can't think it was on Sky Sports made a comment earlier. It might have been Phil Thompson. Well, it was Jamie Redknapp actually. You'd rather have Falcao at Man United pay the $6 million loan fee, which is a lot for a loan for a 1-year loan. But you'd rather him be at United than at Arsenal playing against him when it comes down to it. You've got Man United and Arsenal going for the top 4. With Falcao and the Arsenal, they are a lot more likely to be challenging for that top 4 spot. At least he's out of the way of them now. So really, it's a case of taking away a major target from another top rival. which I'm quite happy about, really.
Yeah.
As I say, well, we've had one of our guests be a little bit quiet. That's mainly because he was munching down on the pizza because, he's
The deadline day munches.
deadline day munchies. I mean, you've got to fuel up. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I'd like to get Danny's thoughts on the Falcao issue in.
It's all right, man. You can do this. I know, it's been a ring rust has got this. It's 10
I haven't-
years, I know.
I haven't quite
Guy back
down
in.
my,
Come on.
DJ Radio. I mean,
yeah, James is always the forefront of the radio station. I'm a bit nervous now.
it's all right. Just pretend
I-
we're all wearing our underwear. It'll be
I
fine.
just think,
I don't wear it.
see, I haven't really seen much of Van Persie, to be honest, if you think about it, over the last, like the end of the season, the start of the season. Is he injured, Van Persie?
There's rumours he's got going for surgery.
So this is it. Maybe might be a replacement for. He might be a replacement for Van Persie, for example, this season. Seeing as Van Persie seems to be
I wouldn't say
injured
that.
all the time. So I can't-
Van Persie's never been a guy that's going to get 35 appearances, 38 appearances a season. He always does have the slight injury problem, so it's good to have cover in that position.
His knee's got horse placenta in it.
Well, yeah, it's never a great sign, is it? But I think
No,
given a few more games to build his fitness up, he'll be fine.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, definitely when it comes to Van Persie, you know he's probably gonna miss at least 10 games a season. But the games he does play, he's gonna score goals. Problem is, as Danny says, he is getting on a bit. What is he, 32, 33? So he's not the future. Falcao's about 4 or 5 years younger. So
Yeah.
that's a big factor.
So we did most of. We covered Falcao in all the depth. I mean, I think we're all agreed. Great signing for the Premier League. Great signing for the neutral.
Exciting. Going straight in my fantasy team.
Yeah, it's been the major talking point of the day, Danny's fantasy football team. It's
That's
quite
because
exciting.
I'm actually doing well at it, James.
Early days.
Shots fired.
Shot across the bow. Go on.
So as I was mentioning that, we forayed into it a little bit with a surprise signing. I think Welbeck to Arsenal definitely hits that category, especially as a permanent move. It's
Yeah.
turning out to be, by the sounds of things. I mean, we won't linger too much longer on Welbeck because, as I say, we've already covered it. Any other signings that have caught you completely off guard? I know there's a fair few here, but Tom, I want you to take the lead on this one. What's caught your eye in this deadline day?
Nuneaton Town have signed Hull breaking their record for Abel Hernandez. That was one. His brother Javier. No, Chicharito's gone to Real Madrid on loan, which wasn't surprising that he left, but it surprised me that he went there because surely he's looking for game time, and you're not necessarily going to get that at Real Madrid, especially with the midfield they've got. They're only really going to play one out-and-out striker. So that was very confusing. Hull have gone a bit crazy. Mohamed Diame, when I say crazy as well, not like crazy. Oh, they're getting all the good deals. They're getting just anyone. Like on Football Manager, they've gone on transfer list and just gone, oh, I tell you what, I saw him once. It doesn't make much sense. But they're my odd ones. But how about yourselves?
I'll go back to Hull. I think Diame is a great signing for Hull. I think there was a thing in his contract. I think it was like a 3.5 million release clause for a player that I think was it last season or the year before was linked with teams like Liverpool and Arsenal. I think that's a good signing for him. I think Hull have probably done the best business today. I think, as you said, Hernandez it'll be interesting to see how he fits in. Ben Arthur, let's talk him on loan. That'd be another interesting signing.
Definitely. I've just got to quickly quote some stats to you. Well, I'll tell you what. There's 3 of you there. 76 appearances for the Hammers, Diame. Can you have a rough guess how many goals?
I'll go on, Danny. You go first.
Yeah. This
The Army, 3.
I was going to say 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking around the same sort of 3 or
Don't
4
copy
mark.
me.
I'll go 5.
I'll go with 4. I'll go
It's
down
7. 7 in 76. So he's not exactly going to be a goal getter for them. Yeah, I don't think that's what Hull need at the moment. I think they could do with a more creative and goal-scoring kind of player.
I'll bring it back then. There's news just broke that Hull have actually just signed Gaston Ramirez on a season-long deal from Stoke. Southampton, sorry.
And he claims to know everything about football. But yeah, Gaston Ramirez, great signing for them, and one of the creative ones, especially with Ben Arthur. It's a different kind of player, similar to what Stoke were doing a couple of seasons ago. I think that's where he got the name stuck in his head from. Bless him. But anyway, it's hopefully a new breed of football like they're bringing to Hull. Like, something a bit more creative, exciting, because they were good but workmanlike last season. And now they might have a bit more flair to them.
Yeah, a bit more unpredictability is what they need.
Oh, that could go both ways. It's like dating a schizophrenic girlfriend. Never goes well.
Well, no, you said it can go both ways, and then you said it never goes well. Surely it can be up and down.
That's true, yeah. No, you've got me there. Right side, downside, all that jazz. Anyway, Danny, what's caught your eye as a surprise signing this deadline day?
Apparently Peter Breslau's gone to someone.
What? Stop reading the live feed. What's caught you up? You've had the whole day.
I know it's been a while.
I don't know. I can't pick one out. Churchy's gone to Atletico Madrid. That's quite a surprising one.
The Searchy one. Is it Searchy or Churchy?
I think
I
it's
was a Churchy. I'm not sure.
I think it's,
I'm sure the die-hard fans will know who we mean.
Mika Richards, that's a surprise.
Yeah,
That is a surprise. We'll come back to Mika Richards.
Fiorentina?
Yeah, to No, we'll do Richards first. Yeah, Florentina. I mean, it's one of those players moving overseas. Hopefully the start of British players that aren't getting game time moving overseas. I, for one, would love to see Scott Sinclair at Villarreal, for example.
I'd love to see Scott Sinclair actually playing football. I mean, he had to go overseas to Swansea. If you'll let me have the stretch to actually play a game, because I mean, Chelsea never got played. Swansea looked like he was having fun, scoring goals, developing as a player. Man City, less than, he's got 15, 16 games for them in the league over the past 2 seasons, and most of those from the subs bench.
I think
Definitely.
This is a warning to young English players, to be quite honest. Because you look at the likes of Jack Rodwell at Manchester City. He's gone to Sunderland. I've seen him in the 3 games at Sunderland. He's shone. He looks back to his old self. When he was at Everton, I was a big fan of him. And the game he played against us, he was phenomenal. He absolutely dominated the midfield against us. Obviously, the goal topped it off, but he was fantastic.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think he could be a future England midfielder if he keeps development, and he needs to play. And at Sunderland, he's really starting to show why people are so excited about him.
Oh, well, no doubt. He's a prospect. I mean, we covered it briefly last episode. I mean, it's good to hear that, some of our most earnest fans and now indeed contributors agree with what we're saying. It's not just 2 crazy people, going back and forth. There is a general school of thought behind what we're saying. And it's, in terms of the Sergi deal, I mean, he was linked with Arsenal. That's another one that Arsenal, you could say, that slipped through Arsenal's fingers in that regard before he went off to Atletico. So, there has been a fair bit. The one that's got me the most, and I've said this to the guys already, Sandro going to QPR. Surely, if you had to leave Tottenham, there's a better club. And this I know is going to sound like my usual bias towards QPR, but I think Sandro could have got a better club. And I'm trying to be as objective as possible there.
I mean,
Go on, Tom.
I was just going to say he's probably a bit too good for QPR, and it's mainly down to the dirty little dog that is Harry Redknapp. It's his work there, really, isn't it?
Well,
His hatred was there, Tom.
Well, you might just enjoy working with Harry Redknapp. Plus, you got to think about the location. But I was quite surprised because, I swear I don't know if I'm right or not, but it was Sandro and Paulinho in the centre of midfield yesterday, was it? I swear they were playing yesterday.
Briefly.
Yeah.
See the game.
I still thought he played in that. You expect this sort of thing from someone who is
On the fringe, like
Yeah.
Holtby was.
Yeah. Well, Holtby's still playing unless he's giving him a chance. But yeah. Sorry. Go on.
No, you had a good point, especially with. I could see what you're saying. If they're both in the team yesterday and that they've just disappeared, both Holtby and Sandro, it's a strange call to sell them both, but Pochettino seems to know what he's doing. I mean, look at what he did with Southampton, so who knows in that regard. Hopefully, it'll turn out well, because I do like the way they're... I do like him as a manager. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to share something from the BBC's transfer deadline day. It's from Brian in Bolton. We are short on strikers and other positions, and all we have on rumours is Beckford to Fulham. It's just ridiculous.
Well, Simon, take the lead.
Speaking of Bolton,
I was going to say, strikers is the position we are desperate for. I mean, in terms of, well, we don't close out games. I mean, we've already lost at least 8 points from winning positions we've thrown away already. And the fact is, we're only scoring one goal, which most of the time isn't going to be enough in the Championship. You know, there's going to be plenty of chances for somewhat semi-decent strikers, a la Nugent, McGoldrick, McCormack, you know, those kind of guys.
Nugent's too good for you. Go on.
That's a slap in the face.
It does hurt a little, I'll be honest. But it's the fact that we haven't got anyone of that bilk. I mean, Beckford was meant to be that guy, but he's just not done it for us. And
Big money signed as well, if I remember.
it wasn't too much.
I imagine he's on decent wage.
He's on a decent wage.
I mean, he's been at a decent wage there.
Bolton.
Paid in Warburtons.
To be honest, as an outsider looking in with Bolton, it just seemed that the sort of players you got, it seemed like to start with, when you just first went down, you had like the Championship dream team, which occasionally happens, but it's like the QPR risk of last season where you go crazy with all these players, give them big contracts, and when it doesn't happen, then you're left in the lurch a little bit. You're in massive trouble.
I think you're about to break what I just saw on screen, Tom. But you want to go ahead and take this one?
No, I was just going to say, I was going to agree with Danny and say the problem is you're paying out Premier League wages and getting in Championship money. But, you go ahead. Hit me with it.
And this is going to sound like I'm deflecting from the issue. I'm really not. It has just come across on the ticker on Sky Sports. Yanga Mbiwa has left Newcastle to go to Roma for a season-long loan. So that's turned up.
Surprising, actually. I quite like him as a centre half. I think he's done quite well for him when I've seen him play.
Yeah, I don't.
How
That's
many centre halves does Newcastle have? I can think of Colaccini,
Williamson.
who played well at the weekend. I'll give him some credit there.
Stephen Taylor's still there.
Well, apart from that, I can't think of.
It doesn't
Is
necessarily.
it Yamat? Is he centre half? Or
He's more right back.
right. So they're not blessed with options, really.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that he's leaving, and
Forever.
going down a level. It may be Roma really wanted him, sort of thing, and then he wanted to go. You can't stop a player if he wants to go. And
True.
you can imagine, sort of on this sort of day, in this sort of environment, that they're sort of forced into a corner to make a decision last minute, and sometimes they might make bad ones or good ones, but if it's a last minute decision, it's never going to be good, is it?
Like pulling in the nightclub at 3 a.m. You're not going to get anything good.
Or spending 30 million on Fellaini.
Oh!
I remember us all too well last year. A dark day in the history of Man United Football Club. But,
I don't want to know any more, to be honest, but I was just going to say 3 a.m. girls are not something I would really know about. I don't know what you're talking about, Simon. Of course, it's a joke, of course. Looking at the lower leagues as well, we've got to say Coventry's released Nathan Eccleston. So make sure you remember where you were. That's a mid-table crisis exclusive. So if anyone's listening, that's the kind of up-to-date coverage you're going to receive.
The shot heard around the world in that regard. But somehow you'll recover.
Unlike Franz Ferdinand, who died soon afterwards. That was the original shot around the world.
It's true.
Shot heard around the world.
A lot of people give Kennedy the credit for that one, but Smug Git stole everything in that regard.
I don't think they really gave Kennedy the credit for it. I mean, the back of his head exploded, so not.
I feel we've slightly gone off topic here. I'm not sure why I'm here anymore.
Well, I'm just saying it's a Pyrrhic victory at best.
Right, well, we'll leave it at that, I think, because I'm well out of my depth here. I'm not
just
quite...
a bit of history mixed in with it. But no, I mean, James is right. We've got to get back to the football. And it's not just transfer deadline day we want to talk about. The England squad's being announced for the friendly against Norway. And that's caused a few eyebrows to be raised. For Simon's right now, in fact. What do you reckon?
Jack Colback's in it.
Yeah?
That's pretty much my response. He's a decent player, but it's a hell of a step up, to say the least. I mean, if you'd asked me to pick an England squad, it would not have had Jack Colback in it. It wouldn't. My secondary squad, I don't think, would have had Jack Colback in it. He's not that he's a bad player. It must be that I'm not seeing something that Roy is. It must be.
I'd like to see him link up well with Lee Catmull.
Don't.
Coming from somebody who advocates Kevin Nolan in the squad.
Hey,
Fair point, Thomas. Yeah, fair point.
I'm asking we give him a chance. Just one chance.
Like
Kevin
we did with
Davis got one. Why not Nolan?
And what a disaster.
Because Kevin Davis got a chance and did back all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you look at Jack Colback, Fabian Delph. I mean, where the hell has that come from?
See, I prefer Delph. I think that Delph was a good choice. I think he's done a lot of under.
Because I don't have a clue what's happening, to be quite honest.
I think he was one of the few bright sparks at Aston Villa over the last couple of seasons. He's been.
I'm not being funny, but Aston Villa over the last couple of years haven't really set the footballing world alight, have they? I mean, it's not hard to look brilliant in that team. You can put a pass together, you're doing quite well.
Well, he certainly can. I mean, he's a dependable pair of hands. He's like a James Milner. You don't really notice him, but he is there, and he's doing a very vital job.
Yeah, but I think the fact that those two are in the midfield says a lot about the fact that Gerrard and Lampard have retired, and while, yes, it was time for them to go, there is no one of that calibre on the horizon. I mean, Wilshere looks a few levels below that, and it's going to take him years to get back up to there. Rodwell's only just started playing football again, and he's not necessarily that kind of goal-scoring player. Where's the next Gerrard? Where's the next Lampard? I don't see him in that squad.
I think the most of England's hopes in the future now rely on someone like Ross Barkley. I think he's the next bright spark for me. But I said that about Jack Wilshere when he first broke for. I think he had the loan spell at Bolton. You'll remember that quite well.
Oh, he tore it up at Bolton.
I mean, I quite enjoyed watching there. But I've said for the last couple of years, I don't think he's improved since he was 17 until this point now. I don't see any difference in him whatsoever. I think he's massively overrated. And if I was Roy Hodgson, he wouldn't get anywhere near my England squad.
He's very as a player, I think, always getting in the middle of a rock. Likes to stick his neck in. Stick his nose in, sorry. Sticking his neck in would probably not really help the situation.
Say, unless he's a giraffe, it's not going to solve much. But we digress a little bit into the animal kingdom. I think the forwards are your bog-standard England forwards. I mean, there's no imagination there. You know, your Rooney, your Welbeck, your Sturridge. To be fair, Sturridge and Rooney, nailed on choices. Welbeck, well, not really getting much game time at the moment before the squad was picked. Now, obviously, he's at Arsenal, things may change.
I think with the injury to Drew, he's definitely going to get some game time, which is promising for England fans, like I said. But
I think, did we take Lambert again this time?
Yeah, it was. Ricky Lambert was the fourth. Another reason I'd like to see Defoe back in the Premier League. I think he's still got something to offer for England, but he was never really getting played in America.
He did well in America, but he's not going to get the same kind of recognition over there, is he?
Well, that's why I made that £10 bet, Tom, and that is why I won that £10 bet, hands down. It was the MLS. As good as he is in the MLS, ultimately, and we've spoken about how it is improving at the moment, not that recognised as a league, really.
Well, Simon doesn't get everything right, but when he does, we held a little party for him. I would like to see Defoe back, because I think there's very few teams that actually would not be improved by signing him in the Premier League. So, by all means, he should come back. I don't think to Spurs, because I think that's been a one too many. But yeah, virtually, there's not many other teams that I don't think would not be improved by a Defoe signing, either because he's better striking than they've got already, or some of the big teams, they need it. They need another striker.
Bit of depth.
Yeah, and
it was less.
he's still got the
kicks
pace
in the league. if he came
Yeah.
like that. He'll get you the goals. If you get the ball to him, he will get you goals.
Yeah. See, thing is, there's 22 and a half minutes left on the clock,
I'm
and
slightly nervous, Simon. I'm not going to lie.
I don't. If you'd have heard something by now, but we would never know a deadline day, do we? So, as I say, it's you know it closes at 11, but you have to watch to at least 12:30, 1ish, really, to see what slipped under the radar and what's been officially declared. I mean, gun to your head, Danny. What club do you reckon Defoe will end up at if he does move?
And this
I
is
don't
serious.
think
There is actually a gun to his head.
I don't think he'll move at all. I think it would be QPR if he did. I think he'd want to work with Harry Redknapp again. He's had some of the best times of his football career with Harry Redknapp.
To be fair, that is most of his career has been under Harry Redknapp.
I didn't, it's the point I was making. You can't criticise it. But yeah, that's all I imagine. I can't see why he could to Leicester.
Cambiasso did.
Yeah, Cambiasso was at the end of his career and he wanted
Yeah,
to play
but-
in the...
Sorry.
No, I was just saying, Cambiasso had different reasons.
Yeah, I heard he really, really wanted to go to the Richard the Third Museum when it opened. He wanted to be here when it opened.
First Nick, first morning.
Yeah.
Along with all the Chinese.
I'm not quite sure what.
I don't think
London-
it's grabbed the Asian market in quite the way you're thinking, but I mean, we well know that Esteban Cambiasso does love a dead king. That's just
Yeah.
fact.
Who doesn't love a dead king?
Who doesn't love a dead king? That's
Really?
What the fuck is happening?
oh.
The production quality of this show has gone downhill in my estimations. I mean,
For those of you who have never peeked behind the curtain of the recordings of Mid-Table Crisis, we do this over Skype, and Tom has been really rather rudely invaded by one of his feline friends.
well, I'm currently looking at a cat's anus, which I didn't expect when I started this podcast, to be quite honest.
That's my face.
Well, you won't want to point that cat in a different direction because it can go off at any second. I'm just warning you.
It's a cat, not an IED, you pleb.
I'm
I'm
just
serious,
saying,
I don't know what James has been feeding his cats, but if they...
well, not my
they
cats, I'm
frequently
not
ad-
beast, but the girlfriend's cats, they get it.
Fair
No,
enough.
What?
It's alright, he kind of perched on my arm. I think I can do this. It's okay.
That's cool. Anyway,
Cats are always selfish creatures.
we were talking
Always-
about Esteban Cambiasso, not a cat lover himself, I've been told, but
An obsession with ferrets.
obsession with ferrets. Yeah, it's more of a ferret man, apparently. But it was I get it's like Falcao. It's a player I rated very highly throughout his career, and I'm excited to see in the Premier League. I compared it more to Samuel Eto'o. I mean, I loved it when Eto'o turned up, even though he was past his prime, just so I could see him in the English game and see what he does. Compared to his Italian game.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a very good player. He played something like 32 games for Inter last season, so he's still a regular in the Serie A. So it's not like he was not getting game time and just wanted to move. His prime time was probably up at Inter Milan, so he needed to find pastures new. Leicester were willing to put forward the money for him for his wages, and it should be a good deal all round. For the fans, for Leicester and for Cambiasso.
Ah, well, they seem pleased to see him. I mean, who wouldn't be? It's Esteban Cambiasso, I once, and this is casting James's mind back a bit, I once got into a very, very heated argument with a Liverpool fan about who the best central defensive midfielder in the world was, and he was a massive advocate for Javier Mascherano, and I was pulling...
What was it, probably 3 years back now?
It'd been,
3 years?
yeah, it's a really long time ago. It's been his back. It was sort of...
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah.
Younger days, we were out every night.
So, it would have been at least 6 years ago.
No, it couldn't.
No, 6. Maybe
Probably
6,
been
5,
17.
6,
We
yeah.
lived in the pub, so if we were there at 17,
Well, it is the Neaton.
fair point.
But yeah, as I say, I've long held that opinion. It's not a popular opinion in some quarters, but I've held it. I've kept to it, and I believe
I'm worried for you though, because I don't want to see him come to Premier League now at this age and maybe get shown up a little bit. See a few more of his flaws on display.
No, I'm confident he'll do fine.
I think most people are expecting a certain amount from him. They're not expecting him to be a world beater anymore, but they are expecting him to show a lot of class and maybe not quite have that much pace, but he's still going to have he's got it all upstairs. He's got all the mentals, if you know what I mean. So that's what people are expecting from him, as long as people don't expect too much.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Realistic expectations. I think that's one thing that with any transfer you've got to keep in mind. That there's going to have to be realistic expectations, bedding in periods and the like, and age as well, another factor, and culture too. So as long as people keep that in mind, I think everyone can just sit back as a neutral and enjoy what's coming our way. I've just seen that the Everton have failed to sign Cleverly, so unless he's moving somewhere else, looks like you're stuck with him.
Can't catch a break today, Simon, honey. It's been one of my main hopes. I was hoping Roy Keane would help us out at the Villa and take him off of books, but apparently, Forever Red doesn't really apply to Roy Keane, does it?
No.
Are you talking about Liverpool?
I'm not even willing to say that. I'll call it a club.
I think they've won more European trophies than Man United, haven't they? And that's, in Simon's sense, that's where the sort of action happens.
It's all about history.
Yeah, they've got quite a lot of history.
They have, yeah.
Just as much history as you. More European Cups, if anything.
I'm not getting into this right now, but...
Of course you wouldn't be the argument.
No, I'm sorry, come to the present date. Right, last 10 years.
Well, then, Manchester City. Jesus, guys, not good for you
Sorry,
guys.
2 Premier League titles.
We're talking about present day, aren't we?
Not now. I mean, look at the last 10 years. You can't go down for the last 24 hours.
Arsenal, they've done all right.
No, they haven't. What have Arsenal done?
Premier League title.
What have Arsenal done?
Arsenal had the only unbeaten season ever.
Oh, whoopty fucking no. I'm not being funny. They've done nothing since. They've had, solid top four. For a team of Arsenal's stature, that's the least you'd expect, really. If Chelsea or Man United, or even Man City, now Man City can't go a year without winning the trophy without a manager being sacked. Look at Ancelotti with Chelsea. A Premier League and FA Cup double, he was out the door. Wenger, it was one of
Before you dig...
I will. Yeah, right, okay. You had you didn't have Sir Alex Ferguson for one season. What happened to that manager? He got sacked. You're the red Chelsea. You are. They're better than you. They're all better than you.
See, and before James digs himself a little bit of a hole by talking about the top 4, something which he wasn't in by the end of last season, I'd like to just make sure. Well, Danny's thrown a lot of ammunition James's way. We need to open you up a little bit, Danny. I mean,
he's been a bit quiet for me, honest.
Yeah, I mean, you're a Brighton and Hove Albion fan for your sins. What do you think?
Sins? What are you on about?
I'm just trying to say.
Don't criticise my club. Nothing wrong with my club.
How do you think?
Yeah, we're not in mass debt like yours.
When he spoke about sins, he was not in any way referring to your convictions. That's fine.
Yeah.
We just wanted to know about Brighton.
What do you want to know?
Well, who you brought in? How do you think
Oh.
you did this season?
Well, the signings we seem to have brought in, with the last few seasons, we've brought a lot of foreign talent in. Nothing wrong with that, obviously. if anything, it's better.
A lot of my friends are foreign. There's Becky Dave.
But it's starting to change. We had a team that successfully won League One, and all the players we had from that. We had players like Bridcut. We had players like Glenn Murray, Gordon Greer. Well, he's still there actually. Kushak. We've had Will Buckley. Oh, there's so many names, and they're all going and going and going constantly. And we seem to be bringing in more English or UK talent, except for the odd one like Tixera or Kalunga as well. He's looked very good against Swindon. I ain't got a clue. And sometimes on such an exciting day like this, when they're all bloody talking about bloody Falcao, you don't hear about the other clubs, do you? Always hogging the limelight. Bloody United crap.
Aimed at me.
I get distracted.
I control the club. I support them. Like billions of other people in the world.
But it's not. I'm not here to talk about positive stuff. It's the sad transfer window. We've lost a Joa.
You say you lost the shower. You cashed in on the shower.
No, we lost it. It looks like we lost him now. Now he keeps bloody scoring. We've lost him. We keep losing all these players because Gus Poyet just keeps robbing them off him.
Two. He's done it twice.
He's took one, hasn't he?
He took
Bridcut.
and Bridcut. Oh, you wouldn't know about him because he's a defensive player. Oh, you only noticed the attacking ones. Also, we've lost Upson. Kushak was a great player as well. I don't know why. It must be. I'm thinking we're trying to bring in players with lesser wages and sort of balance the books, make our team more even, and not go crazy and get Vicente in again. So we brought some. It seems like football league talent. It seems you got Stockdale. Stockdale's a very good signing. Oh, great. Chris O'Grady, I thought, he looks quite good the first few games I've seen him. I thought he always looked, he's got that look about him whenever he gets the ball, but you can see something's going to happen. He's really quick on the ball, like Suarez, if anything. Suarez, Messi, same sort of speed on the ball, I would say. Aaron Hughes, good player, good experience. Dave is my hero. Let me throw that out there. Except for he supports Leeds.
Which will come to
Yeah.
And he needs to get over Leeds because they're absolutely god-awful. And James will explain why. We're continuing the takeover next.
DJ Radio.
Do it. This isn't a radio show.
We're back.
We're giving the people what they want, Tom.
What, James Ison?
Stupid cat and furry chest.
Yeah, people won't be able to see this. I am currently witnessing Tom Patrick's gloriously white body.
I'm videoing most of it, by the way.
That's for your own
Gloriously
personal.
white. You sound more and more like
You
white.
know, if you want to see Tom's unusually large nipples, get in touch and we can always make that available to you.
I will be
A little bonus for you. He's rubbing them as I speak.
Oh, God.
If I may bring this vaguely back to football, I believe we're about...
I wasn't informed. Well, I wasn't informed, yeah. I'm a United. I don't know anything about football, apparently.
Leeds. We're about to discuss what the hell is happening at
It's a
Leeds.
shit tip.
Not the place.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, not a fan of Leeds in general, to be quite honest. But, you know, I've done a bit of research into this. Is it Massimo Cellino, the owner?
Chileno.
Yeah.
Right, well, I mean, I've seen this up quite easily. The bloke is off his face. The man is mental, beyond all belief. I mean, I read something about this. Is it... I can't think exactly what they call it about. Is it the owners? What do they have to go through now? What's it called? I can't think what it's called.
Fit and proper person.
That's the one. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's utter rubbish. Because
He failed it. He failed it, but then he appealed and...
Well, I'm sorry, but basically, let's go through it then. So he was arrested. The most recent arrest was in 2013 in February for attempted embezzlement and fraudulent manipulation. That case is still unsolved. So that is still a running case. So how he gets found... I mean, right, we've got two more. He was convicted in 1996. He attempted... Well, he deceived the Italian Ministry of Agriculture out of £7.5 million.
Yeah,
How is that
he's
a fit and proper person to run a football club? And then
He's a corn king. Yeah, a lot of people won't know this, but he's very big in sweet corn in Italy, and that's what he's used to finance his football interests.
He's big in sweet corn just sounds like a euphemism. I'm sorry.
I got a bit confused there, to be quite honest. But I mean,
Oh,
how far does sweet corn get you in life?
well,
It's a lovely thing. I enjoy a bit of sweet corn every now and then, but I couldn't buy a football club on it. So
Well,
he's got to
yeah.
be up to something. There's got to be something dodgy going on here. I mean, you got another one in 2001. This is actually by running Calgary. He was convicted of false accounting. So there's no way this is going to end well for Leeds. I mean, I despise Leeds with a passion. Dave, I'm sorry. I don't know you. I've never met you, but you're scum. Now, I look forward to the day we meet, to be quite honest, because it'll be a very interesting conversation.
James,
I mean-
I will say
I will say I've met Dave, I know Dave, and he is scum, so that's fine.
Well, it's good to know, yeah. The hatred I have, it seems justified now. I mean, I can go deeper for you, Tom. I mean, the man is absolutely mental. He replaced all of the number 17 seats in both Ellen Road and at Calgary, during his 36 years there, with seats now known as 16B, because the number 17 is bad-looking Italian, apparently.
No, I'm not sure if it's bad luck for Italian.
Exactly, mental. He hates the colour purple. I've looked into this. Barney is very big in Italy.
Yeah.
So he's got. I love Barney. I'm not gonna lie. So straight away there would clash. He retired the number 17 shirt at Leeds. I mean, it was last worn by Michael Brown. So, you know.
Well,
After that, who follows Michael Brown? I mean, you know. Is he?
In terms of who follows Michael Brown, literally anyone. Not just anyone.
I mean, just get it out of the way.
I'd say bounty hunters follow Michael Brown, if anyone. Yeah, I know. You were saying about Chilino as well. One thing I do know, he, of course, Paddy Kenny's been has his contract terminated, and that was because he weighed 17 stone, which is of course his least favourite number. So that makes sense.
I'd not heard that one. That makes. Well, I mean, I've got one more fact for you, Tom. It's not. Well, I mean, it probably is actually slightly more mad than that. At the start of the season, before the season started, they held a little concert to raise a bit of money and awareness for the new season. They had the famous lead bands, the Pigeon Detectives, down playing. Now, as they made their way to the stage, he decided, you know what, you ain't good enough to play on my stage, so he kicked the lead guitarist off the stage and demanded to be the frontman for the Pigeon Detectives.
That is bollocks.
Honest, search it. Right, listeners, search this. I swear on my... I haven't got children. I swear, and this is... Right,
You never will.
I don't want them. Oh, God, I'm in trouble. They actually, you can probably search it. I've not searched it myself. They actually covered the Jimi Hendrix track, Hey Joe. Now, I have no idea what that is, but I'm assuming he did it quite badly. Now, I will look into this, but, I mean, you can't get away with this mentalness. It is outrageous.
You can if you're rich, and he clearly is at the moment. I mean, look what happened to Hockaday. I mean, poor appointment in the first place.
6 games to prove himself. 6 games.
It's
Well, he was in an impossible position there, because he could have done quite well there. He would have still been looked on as basically this cheap option that he's come in with. He was never going to get the credit he deserved. I mean, basically, he must have known when he went there that it wasn't going to last. It was a bit of a dream for him, to be quite honest. The best thing that's come out of this is it's enhanced his reputation slightly. His name is now slightly more out there. So you may get a couple more teams now, and like a Colchester or someone like that, they may actually think now, oh, well, maybe we'll take a punt with this guy.
what's wrong with Colchester?
Colchester?
Well,
lovely place.
it is in Essex.
Well, to be fair, they've today fired their manager and since replaced him, so I think Hockaday's missed the boat on that one. But I see your point. I see where you're coming from. He has boosted his status. Like,
that's the only thing I mean, to take that job now, you must be... I don't know why you would take that job. It's a poison chalice now.
That's exactly what I said when Mackay left Cardiff. You know,
Yeah, it's the same situation.
yeah, the manager, the bloke in charge, is a little bit mental. No one in the right mind would do it unless they've got slightly ulterior motives. I think Solskjaer wanted to get into the Premier League. Obviously, that didn't go down too well for him.
to be fair, jumping from the Norwegian League to the Premier League was always going to be a big leap. He'll grow into English football. He's got some good ideas. He was a bit tactically inept at the start, but he seems to have turned that around a little bit.
I'll tell you what else is a big leap. Going from non-league management to championship management, that's quite a big leap as well. Yeah.
It's a fair point. Bless him, but he's got his compensation. He's got his improved status, as James says. So he's boot up a little bit in that regard.
Were really?
Oh no, you'd do it for a month, wouldn't you? Really?
Well, I don't know.
I think it was actually about 70 days. It was 6 competitive games, including, I think they played a League Cup time there as well. But yeah, I mean, that's never long enough to even have an idea about. I mean, I don't think David Moyes was given enough time, and he was given probably about 40 games, I'd say, with Man United. So 6 games when you've just employed, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's virtually a new squad as well. I mean, I don't think, as James says, I don't think anyone would want that Leeds job now, and I think Leeds will suffer for it because they'll get a worse quality of manager than they usually would.
But hey ho, hopefully it'll be all right at Leeds. Touch wood for Leeds fans. For those who don't like Leeds, hopefully it won't. It depends on your viewpoint.
I also don't like Leeds.
Thank you, Danny.
Cheers, Danny.
I'll tell you.
We do agree on something.
I'll tell you a story about Leeds. I went to a Leeds game before. You know, I was giving the Leeds fans a chance. They were a bit knobby all day. They won 3-1, and it just shows the intelligence in that place. Where the best insult I got on the way was obviously to jump on the gay bandwagon, with Brighton fans being all of us being homosexuals. But it was quite unfortunate, really, because we had a player called Dean Cox. So I had Cox on my back. So basically, I was a target. Oh, you a Leeds fan, are you? You sound like him. I was walking down the road, and he goes, "Ha! He's got Cox on his back, and he's a Brighton fan." Yeah, it just shows that they're doomed.
What you talking? The thing is, mate, he was literally saying the truth. It wasn't like, all right, you like Cox, do you? He was just stating a fact, you know. I'm a little bit disappointed by that. But Danny, we must say as well, Danny, I'm not sure if he likes to make himself a target, but he is a leader of an alternative lifestyle. You know.
What lifestyle would that be, Tom?
I don't know. Well, the lifestyle of a slightly fey window dresser from Kent. I'm not quite sure how.
Jesus. I mean, I knew it was going to be bad. Even I feel bad.
It's not abuse. It's not abuse. But
It's not a compliment.
It's got a
definitely
point.
not a compliment.
Oh, his little face.
No, but I mean-
Can't see him right now, but I mean, my God, listeners, he's devastated.
Felt like a Joe was gone again.
We can't do this to him.
I think after all this, you know, hostility and meanness, I think we should focus
What?
What?
Hostility?
a little bit.
Oldham signed Dominic Polion from Leeds for an undisclosed fee.
Exciting times, man. Oh,
We've got, right, five,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Transfer window has now closed. It just shows you how long we've been recording this for
Come
you
on,
all.
you Colombian bastard, where are you?
Where are the fireworks?
Falcao's still not confirmed.
Welbeck's not confirmed.
With Berbatov, I waited up till 12:30 to get that sorted. Fellaini last year was about 12 o'clock, I think, so there's still time for things to go through.
True, but a little bit nervous now.
I've been slightly on edge all day. I've been sat here for 11 hours waiting for this to go through. So I'm getting slightly nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Me a little bit less than that.
We've got a little bit of cabin fever going on. But as I was about to say before, obviously we got really interrupted by the transfer window itself. How dare it? Is we should move towards a little bit of something, you know, that brings joy to our listeners, you know, hearts. Something that, you know, makes them think of a glorious day gone past. And that is, of course, our regular section of the week.
Free
Football.
Pride Brighton. No, it is Forgotten Footballers, everybody's favourite section. I know a lot of people actually skip through to the end for this, but no, I'm joking. We've got two absolute crackers tonight, coming from our two absolute crackers, Danny and James. And I'm not sure which one of you wants to go first, but hit me with it.
It's Danny that's going first, I think. He seems the most keen. So,
Okay.
as I say, so Danny, who have you picked for your forgotten footballer?
I don't think mine is going to be as good as James's. Again, well, on the rare occasion James has beat me at something. But I am going for Espria. Can we all remember Espria?
Tino Espria, yeah,
Yes.
the famously anarchic striker.
Right. Well, the info I got on him is he's played for Newcastle and Parma. To name two clubs of his many clubs. He now
club.
spends his time going on shooting sprees in 2008. Take that in. Have we got that?
I've
Yes,
taken it. I've
yes.
taken it all in.
I will repeat. Is this mic on?
Yeah, it is. It is. Don't worry.
He spends his time going on shooting sprees in Colombia.
He was offered. He was offered a porn star contract.
You.
In his native Colombia. Some producer said they wrote an open letter to him in one of Medellin's biggest newspapers, and it said something like, "We all know about your talent. The whole world does. We'd be willing to offer you a 3-month contract at our company." And it went on, but yeah, basically he was offered a porn star contract, and that is true.
Nice to see you were reading the notes I sent you earlier.
Yeah, I
Because you literally stole the words out of my mouth there.
To be fair, he was always a player with great penetration in the box, so...
Yeah.
What does that? I don't get that. What?
Penetration.
Again, read the book we bought you.
Just get you the talk. Danny. I can't do any more. I'm not going to physically show you.
Oh, well.
You don't have a girlfriend, so surely...
Do I?
Oh, God.
Is that what she's in that house for?
That's a woman, Danny.
Oh.
They're like men.
I wonder why she sits down while she wheezes.
Oh God.
Crazy. Don't worry. Me and James are here to save the day once again.
Don't worry, listen. We'll be back.
This podcast, again, has turned into something absolutely outstanding.
There's not even...
Faustino Espria.
I can't even explain it in the true grammatical way.
10 years, mate. We're not Mr. B.
Except for that James keeps speaking, even though he has to remember I have the mic in my hand.
Well, in Greek.
No.
Anyway.
It was like
Right, now it's...
Let this go.
We didn't have a microphone, we had a cassette player.
Tape deck, yes. Different times.
Where was the microphone on
I
it?
think you guys are... I think the problem is you guys are trying to live vicariously through mid-table crisis.
How dare you?
Now, if I can bring it back a little bit to Asprilla.
Who's Tina?
Tina?
You
Ah,
said Tina.
I did say Tina. Anyway,
Cut that.
But that's a woman's name. You know what women are now, don't you?
It says you.
Oh, that cuts deep. Anyway, you mentioned that he had a little bit of a lucrative offer for him waiting at one of our lower league clubs earlier on, Tom, didn't you?
Yeah, Darlington were a Division 3 side at the time, back when there was a Division 3, in the halcyon days of 2002. And he would have been 32 at the time, so just past his peak for most players. But with Asprey, he always lived pretty fast and hard. And by that time, he'd wasted most of his talents, but still would have been a massive signing for Darlington. They'd had a work permit refused, and they'd successfully appealed it. And they're offering, bear in mind this is 2002 and it's Division 3, somewhere in the region of 17 grand a week, plus 20% of the gate receipts, which admittedly, you know, they'd probably skyrocket because of him, and a car and a free flat. And apparently at a game, over 5,000 fans turned up, which is decent for Darlington. 5,000 fans turned up just to see him paraded around 2 days before he's supposed to sign. He started stalling on his medical on the 29th, which was a Thursday. Friday morning, caught a flight to the Middle East. Never heard of again in the northeast of England, apart from a certain Steve Harper's Steve Harper's testimonial. But he never actually joined a club in the Middle East, and he retired soon afterwards. So what actually happened there, no one really knows. I'm not sure if Aspria knows, but he came very, very close to being the highest paid player in the in Division 3 by about £15,000.
It's a great achievement, wouldn't you say?
That's meant. I mean, they say money's like, you know, got too far at the top level of football, but 20% of gate receipts to one player, that's ridiculous. Just shows how...
17 grand a week as well would be probably about as much as the rest of the team were on as well.
So that was that was just a short, succinct forgotten footballer, and you might be thinking why that is, and that's because as it's deadline day, we're going to give you listeners a bit of a special treat. We're not giving you one forgotten footballer this week. We're giving you 2 forgotten footballers this week. And James Ison has got another peach for you.
You lucky, lucky people. Right, now, take your minds back to, I think, probably around 2007 this man would have been last seen, wearing a Newcastle kit. Ex-Chelsea and Newcastle left-back, Celestine Babayaro.
I've got to say, of the footballers named after popes, he's in my top 3. He's definitely in the top
He's
3.
everyone's top. I mean, he's right up there. I mean, the man won a 96 gold medal in Atlanta, for God's sake, with Nigeria. I mean, how can he not be up there?
Harking
That
back to last
Nigeria
week, Kano.
I was going to say, yeah, I did mention him last week in that Nigeria team that was
Right,
just...
Listen, I've disgraced myself. I'm sorry, I was busy. I know. Yeah, right. Well, still, I won't let that distract me. Right, well, yeah, basically, at his peak, he was earning around £25,000 a week. Currently, he's actually now being chased by creditors after being declared bankrupt. His property in Middlesex has fallen into disrepute, a £475,000 mansion. Now, to show you how bad this is...
Disrepute or disrepair?
Well, it's a shithole. It used to be a lovely... I've seen pictures. It used to be a lovely little house. It's gone downhill. Bloody... Well, but, I mean, to show how bad it really got for him, Babayaro back in, I think it was 2009? He basically upset his neighbours when workmen who were working on the house while he was back in Nigeria, probably, I don't know what he was doing over there, workmen actually asked to borrow his neighbour's lawnmower. He then refused to replace it after the long grass in the garden broke the lawnmower. So his neighbours, he's not on best terms with, but actually still hunting him down now. So he's not a very popular man, to be quite honest. But, I mean, there's not much else to say about the man. He's gone to shit.
So, are you saying his neighbours are chasing him as well as creditors
Well,
just
not
because of
quite.
the lawnmower?
Not quite as bad as the creditors, but they're not happy about it, are they?
Of course not.
I mean, you break a man's lawnmower, you replace
I
it.
don't know if you could follow him. I don't know where he's bloody gone to.
Well,
Probably
no
back
one
to
does.
Nigeria.
He's generally not been seen in the UK for the last 4 years, so no one knows where he is at the moment. I'm assuming he's back in Nigeria.
Depot in Nigeria.
He did
You heard it here first.
go to
Well, any
Los
fans
Angeles.
that are listening,
That'd be a terrible episode of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
He's still got some pace. He's only 36.
It's only 36.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow. Is that a regular 36 or a Nigerian 36? Because we could...
I've got to tell you the story. Probably my favourite Celestine Babayaro story. He was actually at the squad. Do you remember when Obafemi Martins was being signed by Newcastle United?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure who the manager was at the time, but Babayaro went to him and said, "I really don't think you should get Martins. I was playing on the same youth squads and under-17 teams as him." Babayaro was about... Babayaro was 29, 30 years old at the time. Martins claimed to be between the ages of 21, 22, something like that. And if you look at Martin's subsequent career, he did well early on, and he's really tailed off as he's hit his sort of mid to late 20s. Now, I don't know quite why that is, but it might seem that old Celestine tried to pull the rug out from under him, but people wouldn't listen. And now 36-year-old Babayaro has been retired for a few years, and Martins is still living it up in the MLS. Although he did score a lovely goal the other day, but I think he might actually be telling the truth about his age, Celestine, and he's paying the price for it.
Wow, bless. As I say, a Nigerian birth certificate's not really worth the paper it's written on sometimes.
That's racist.
It's not racist, it's true. You've seen the level of investigations that have been over some of the Nigerian Olympic teams. It warrants looking into.
Yeah, I do remember the under-21 World Cup. There's that new thing there's new tests like that you can measure how big, it's something to do with the wrist. You can see exactly how old someone is to within sort of a couple of months. Nigeria immediately withdrew 7 of their squad from the under-21s World Cup because obviously.
Age. does that work?
What, the wrist? You don't cut it off and count the rings. It's not like that.
No, it's like it's. I'm not exactly sure how you do it, but yeah, it's something to do with the bones in your wrist, and yeah, they just put it's almost like a handcuff around it, and that does some sort of X-ray on your arms, and then they can get you to a pretty accurate degree, you know. So that was the Nigerians are never the best.
I was going to say, we've really laughed and learned tonight, haven't we? In that regard.
Fucking hell, is this some sort of like education time? We've laughed and learned. Now everyone tell everyone else about your lesson.
I haven't learned anything tonight.
I was channeling my inner Mr. Rogers, I think, at that point. It's not something I don't think I'll ever do again.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that special edition of Mid-Table Crisis. I've got to say thank you to our two special guests, Mr. Danny Hill. Thank you very much.
You're darn welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you. And Mr. James Ison, thank you.
You're thoroughly welcome. I've enjoyed it very much. Just a quick note, I'm not plugging or anything, but DJ Radio will be returning to the air very soon. We hope to have you listen in. It's going to be a great moment for the music.
You've got to let go of the past.
You've got to let go of the past. And
we're relevant right now.
Wrestling themes will come back into the charts. All right? Dun, 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 dun.
And it's good night from me, Tom Patrick.
And it's good night from me, Simon Cross. Have a great time, listeners.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.